You're watching Medfield TV, Community Shows.
Hello and welcome back to a discussion with, I'm your host Brett Poirier, the general manager here at Medfield TV, and I'm with the special guest, Andy Costello of the Medfield Plastic Reduction Initiative. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Very happy to be here.
So tell me first of all, what is the Medfield Plastic Reduction Initiative?
It's a group of citizens and civic groups that are wanting to inform the town about the negative impact of plastic bags on our environment.
And now, doing some research for this, we don't have to get too much into the details right off the bat, but it is pretty astounding the amount of plastic bags that are being used.
It is. Every man, woman, and child in America uses 350 bags a day. I'm sorry, a year. I do this all the time. 350 bags a year, which in Medfield alone comes out to 4,200,000 bags a year, plastic bags, which we use approximately 12 minutes for each one.
Yeah, I mean, you think about when you get a plastic bag at the grocery store, one, it's almost weightless. It's this kind of weightless thing that you put all your groceries in and then you go home and you just throw it away.
Or you recycle it, and I will say that in Medfield, we recycle them, although they never are completely recycled, and only about 1% of plastic bags in the world are ever recycled. But we do reuse them a lot. We use them for liners, we use them for dog pickup bags, and also in Medfield, we are very good at recycling because the transfer station will take our bags in a little green bucket outside of the compactor, and we can put our bags in there, and we give approximately 18% of our bags to Shaw's, and they recycle them, they sell them to manufacturers of plastic wood, and they make them into plastic wood, which is wonderful, but it is still plastic and it still never goes away. So plastic never goes away, and so those pieces of plastic wood that we use, if we throw them away, they never ever go away. So the plastic is recycled in that it is reused, but it's not ever going to leave the planet.
And the other thing that I also thought was interesting was the plastic bags actually cause a massive amount of problems for the recycling facility. A lot of these facilities have turning wheels and stuff in the plastic bags. Rather than going through it, they get caught up and they jam them up. So these actually cause problems for them.
So for curbside pickup, when you see, not Medfield, but when you see towns that have curbside pickup, you'll see a recycling bin and a regular bin, and they are banned from those recycling bins for that very reason. So you cannot purposely recycle a plastic bag in a town that has curbside pickup. They will not allow it because it will jam the machines, and it takes days and hours to get that undone in the facility.
And now, talking before this interview a little bit, we talked about what your goal is as an initiative, what you guys are looking to do, and really it's just communicate and educate, and that's what you guys are looking to do.
Right. So we're looking to inform people about the negative impact of plastic bags in Medfield, and how, to that end, we'll be having some activities this fall, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we want to get feedback from people. We want to get everybody's ideas. If there's consensus and general agreement that we should continue on toward a piece of legislature, a bylaw in Medfield that would ban plastic bags at takeout, we would go ahead and start that in the wintertime and get that onto the warrant for the town meeting in April.
And now this isn't a new thing. This is something that has been going on since basically 2012, I think, are some of the statistics that you've shown. But it's a fast-growing thing. This is something that we were talking about statistics that each one of us had stats from 2-3 days ago, and they're wrong now, because it's growing so rapidly. So I had stats that showed me as of October 2018 was 85 Massachusetts cities and towns have done some sort of ban, but you're actually saying it's now 86 as of literally yesterday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so now this is something that we're looking for Medfield to join this initiative to be able to do that.
Right. So we would like to inform people as to what's happening in Massachusetts, which is a big groundswell of support for limiting how much plastic we use. And in our community, we're looking to limit the number of plastic bags that are disposed of In many towns, they're also looking at styrofoam in the form of takeout containers, straws, and plastic bottles, but we're not going there right now. We're just starting with plastic bags. And we would not be including in that category, we would not be including newspaper bags, the bags that your newspapers come in. We would not be including dry cleaner bags. So we would, it would only be point of purchase at the checkout, the bags that you carry your groceries in, the bags that restaurants give out for take-home food, and bags with handles, that sort of thing.
Now, 4 U.S. cities have already done this. Boston is one of them, which I have 350 million plastic bags that are in use in the city each year. They have 350 million bags every year. Seattle has done it, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. are the 4 cities that have done this. I know New York is doing some work. I don't think that they've done it yet, but their statistic was 1,700 tons of plastic bags a day. That's crazy to me. Crazy. Because like I said before, you look at how light a plastic bag is, and to think that 1,700 tons of plastic bags is there. That's amazing.
I think I'd like to just talk about the word convenience for a minute, because one of the things that I've noticed in discussing this with people is that there have been 2 generations now of people who have been brought up with really the word convenience as a sort of like a given. So in the 70s, plastics became incredibly cheap to produce, and everything became single use. Everything, if you go through everything in your house or the things that you see in the store, everything is based on single use. So that means that it gets thrown away. And in the 70s, plastic bags became very, very, very cheap to make and common. And so we've all grown up with them for a long time, and our children have never known anything else. And why they are great is because they're light, because they're waterproof, because they're cheap, and because they are light and easy, and we can pack them away and take our bags out with handles, take our groceries out with handles. So one of the things that's gonna, I think, have to happen in our world in general is that we have to think about what the word convenience means and how much it costs. So this is something that is not a given, it's not a right, it's just convenient, and and there's many, many ways that are not that hard to rethink and reteach your children how to do things, that you don't throw everything away all the time. It's amazing. We don't even know we do it. It's really, and so I think if everybody can just think about what the word convenience means, and it's not something that we have a right to, it's just easy.
And now the other thing too is a lot of people look at, okay, we're going to get rid of the plastic bags, so obviously we should use paper. But that's not necessarily the case. Paper is just as bad, according to the statistic. Paper is just as bad as plastic. So
well, it's not just as bad, but it's bad. First of all, it costs more to produce, but it's biodegradable. It doesn't. So maybe a plastic bag costs 3 cents or 4 cents to produce, and a paper bag might cost 7 cents to produce. So it's more for the merchant to buy. But when we throw it away, it biodegrades, and it doesn't cost us anything except for an initial pickup of your trash. The plastic bag is cheaper to produce, but it never, ever goes away. And the cost to the environment and the cost of cleaning it up is not being taken up by the manufacturers, and it is going to be, it's always passed on to us in terms of the environmental impact, of the cleanup of the impact, of how it's impacting the recycling facilities and all that stuff. So it is definitely costing us way more than a paper bag. However, the paper bag does impact the environment with the trees that we're using to make them, and so that's not the alternative.
You know, one of the things I looked up was Ian Fraser of The New Yorker. He wrote an article about this, and he said in 2014, plastic grocery bags were the 7th most common item collected during the Ocean Conservancy International Coastal Cleanup, behind smaller debris like cigarette butts, plastic straws, and bottle caps. Right. So you think about that, when they go and clean up the coastline, plastic bags is the 7th most common thing among like little teeny tiny things.
Right,
So plastic bags are actually pretty large items
right.
for that to be taking up that much
Right.
space. That's a lot.
Right.
So you guys have some events coming up, some things that you're looking to inform people on. The first one is October 25th, which is a movie called Bag It. And do you know, can you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Sure. The movie will be shown. The movie will be shown at the United Church of Christ next week, a week from today, at 7 p.m. upstairs. And it is a movie that was, I think, produced in 2000. I'm not sure. I'm not actually really sure. Maybe 2010. A man, just like everybody else, and every man, decided to take a look at what was going on in his household, and he saw that plastic bags was a big problem. So he sort of tracked went out to track what was going on with plastic bags, how they were produced, and what was happening to them after he threw them away. The movie goes into a lot of what he found, which was that plastics are so pervasive and so much of a problem. He gets a little overwhelmed by what's going on, but he does talk about how he feels people can change their behavior so that you can make an impact on the environment, and it definitely brings down the cost of everything if you just reuse your bags. Can I show them my bags?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you all know this is a plastic bag. This is what we're talking about. That is the problem. The bags that have handles. There are different thicknesses of the bags, but they are all considered thin film single-use bags. These are the problem. This is what we would like people to stop using. And there are many alternatives. At the grocery store, you can get cloth bags, and you can wash these if you are concerned about cleanliness. There's cloth bags. And there are also bags that we have made we made these for Medfield Day, and I'm sure you all have many of these already in your car.
Can't you see that? That's a nice, that is a nice looking bag though.
Isn't that great?
I love that. No, what's the cloth made out of?
It's cotton.
Is this a cotton?
It's cotton, yep. It's cotton.
Wow. That's a nice bag. And obviously you can fit a ton of stuff in this. This is bigger than a plastic bag.
It's bigger than a plastic bag, yes,
You're carrying
exactly.
less bags.
Exactly. That is a very good point. It can take, as you know, they sometimes double bag your stuff, but also you can bag in a paper bag or a reusable bag approximately 12 items, whereas they often put 2 or 3 in a plastic bag. That's true. You can buy a bag at the store. This is a Market Basket bag for hot and cold. You can buy that. I've had this, as you can tell, for years. So yes, it is made out of plastic, but I will probably use it forever. And so that is going to get many, many more uses than a thin film. Exactly.
That's a bag right there.
And then I also wanted to show you there are other bags that you can put in your purse, because a lot of people say that their bags are in their car and they forget them. These are bags that you can put in your purse, and they open up to be very large shopping bags. This is from Sierra Club.
Oh, wow. It's like a little tent almost.
So, yep, and it's very easy to bunch it up like a raincoat. You know, people have raincoats that bunch up into little carrying cases, and it just wraps up around itself. It's not in a bag, it's just itself. So there are many, many alternatives. And they may not be as convenient because you have to bring them in, but they are there. You just have to rethink what you're doing, and you will get used to the idea of bringing your own bags. This costs nobody a thing. Okay, this costs nothing. It doesn't cost the manufacturers anything. It doesn't cost the stores anything. It doesn't cost you anything to dispose of, because you're not going to dispose it. They're all washable. So the Bag It movie will talk about the impact of the plastic bags and how it is just becoming pervasive. And that is not a brand new movie. So it was a problem many, many years ago. This is not a new problem.
Yeah, this,
When does it say
trying to
when it
look
came
up if it came out at some point. I don't have when it came out,
Yes, I
but
don't remember either.
this is saying Americans use 60,000 plastic bags every 5 minutes. Single-use disposable bags that were mindlessly thrown away. It's Jeb Barrier is who he navigates our plastic world. It's been shown in a bunch of different countries: the Bahamas, England, Germany, Ireland, Midway Atoll, and the United States. Has shown it in California, Colorado, Hawaii, Michigan, New York, Seattle, Washington, D.C. and now Medfield, Massachusetts. This is it's going to be a powerful movie, so I'm excited for that. One of the things I actually noticed, the plastic bags and the paper bags. The paper bag is actually like a much nicer looking bag too. The plastic bags you can only kind of do so much with, and they're
right. They're not meant to be
Yeah.
beautiful. You know, they're not meant. And Brothers, for example, in town has never had plastic bags. They've always used paper bags. Whole Foods uses paper bags, and so there's some merchants that they've known this for a long time. So they've done this for, and you all know this. They're all, go to Brothers and you get your bag. I know that Butterfly Tree is now all paper, and there's many stores in town that use, other stores that use paper bags and have never used plastic bags. So we don't, it's going to be, if we do this, it will be not a bad thing. It's not going to hurt business. It's not going to hurt the merchants. It's not going to be a big impact. It's just going to be a change.
Yeah. And now the other two events you have is November 15th at 7:30 at the Public Safety Building, and then November 18th at 3:30 the Public Safety Building. Those 2 dates you guys have a forum that is going on.
Right. This is a public forum. We invite everybody to come to this forum who has an interest in this topic. We would like to it's a listening forum. We'll be listening to your ideas, your thoughts, your concerns. We will have a PowerPoint presentation to give you an idea of what we plan to do and how we are planning to just get information out to the public, and we'd love to have volunteers sign on. We are a group of people, and we are also combining with the Savvy Women's Network, which is the Medfield chapter, which is very concerned with environmental issues, and they are co-sponsoring the movie next week and hosting it for us. And we at the forums would love to know what you're thinking so that we can come up with a road for the next year that everybody feels comfortable with.
And now, the forum, who's going to be representing the board or the group that's going to be taking in the information? Who'll be there?
The Plastic Bag Initiative, the Plastic Bag Reduction Initiative will be there. I will be there. Megan Sullivan will be there, and there'll be many, many other people who are concerned about this issue. There will be students. We have many students on board. We have the Environmental Club in Medfield High School, the AP Environmental Science class, many scout groups and other youth groups. We have middle school students from student council that are concerned and interested in helping. They will all be there, and we've invited town selectmen and anybody else. It's open for everybody. So it will be a discussion not very long. It'll maybe take about an hour, and we'll just listen to your concerns, take them down, and address them in a following media blasts that we let people know of. And we just did 2 dates so that in case you can't come on a Thursday night, you can come on a Sunday afternoon.
And then the final event you guys have, I should say the final event you have scheduled right now, is the holiday stroll on December 1st. You guys are doing an art project to decorate bags.
These bags.
And then
the back of the bags, you'll be able to decorate with fabric markers, anything you'd like. It will cost $5, and the money will go towards the printing of media information that we have for the initiative.
And then the other thing, I think this is great, you guys are supplying paper bags to everybody so that no one has to use plastic bags.
Right, so that night we'd like the holiday stroll on December 1st to be a plastic bag free event, and so we will be supplying vendors, all of the vendors up and down on the map of the holiday stroll with paper bags.
And so, so you have these events coming up, you have an idea that you want to inform people. What's the ultimate goal at the end of this? What's the, after everyone's informed and everyone understands, what you guys want, what is it that the goal is?
Well, the goal is it's up to the people of Medfield. If the people of Medfield are in support of this, we would write up a bylaw that would be unique to Medfield, but also in sync with other towns in Massachusetts that are the same size and character of Medfield. And it would be a bylaw to ban plastic bags from takeout at merchants in Medfield, and it would include all plastic bags, no matter how thick they are. And it would go into effect sometime after that, so we would give the merchants time to use up their bags and come up with alternatives to that. So we would be working hand in hand with the merchants to transition.
Now, two things that we kind of touched on, but I want to dive a little deeper into is this here. You have the calculating the greenhouse gas emissions produced by disposable bags in your community. So average bag usage, and is this specifically Medfield?
This right here, these statistics are Medfield
Are
statistics,
specifically
yes.
Medfield. So we use 350 bags per person per year.
All of America does.
All of America
all
does.
of
Okay, so that's
America does. Yeah,
American
that's a
stats.
national statistic.
And our population in our town is 12,000 people. So we use 4,200,000 bags per year, which is 0.04 metric tons of CO2 per 1,500 bags. We use 112 metric tons of CO2 per year.
We contribute to the emission of that per year. And the cost to the merchants for those bags, for those 4 million bags, is $168,000 per year, which they pass on, rightfully so, to us. So that is about 4 cents a bag. So these bags are not free. I just want to make that really clear. They're not free. You are paying for these bags, and they're just going to include that cost in your merchandise that you're buying. But you are paying about 4 cents a bag for this. And there are some towns that do charge fees for bags, and they charge about 4 cents a bag, which which is sort of like what people are talking about. It does help enforce and change people's behavior. We're not really talking about a fee right now, but that is, most people will argue that these are free, and they're not.
There's, talking to you before this interview, your concern was people think that you're going to try to get people to get charged for plastic bags. And that's not your initiative. That's
not right now. No, there are many places. The state is also looking at a statewide ban on plastic bags, and they might institute a fee. And there are many people going back. There are some towns that have bag bans that are now thinking that they would like to initiate fees, but we're not going there right now. So we don't. Right. We think we'd like to just let people make up their own minds and do their own thing and do the right thing.
And then the other part of this that I wanted to go back to was this here graph, which we'll show this on the screen. But you look at this. This is not a new thing. This is a widespread across the state. Cape Cod is almost entirely plastic bag free. Boston itself is almost entirely plastic bag free. And then the rest of the state is about 40%, 50%, somewhere in that range. This is an initiative that a lot of the state is getting along with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you want me to put this up here?
Well, it'll be on screen,
okay.
So you can look at it.
Okay. We are in Norfolk County. This is by county. We are in Norfolk County, and that's about 14% of the towns in Norfolk County have initiatives. But I also want to emphasize that there are many towns like Medfield who are in the process of, and right now we are linking up with Norwood, Westwood, Walpole, maybe Sharon, and Medfield. We're linking up to do this together, and so it's just happening everywhere. And this shows that Boston right now just passed this. In fact, Boston's was started by a Girl Scout, I think, or a young student. A lot of these towns, Lincoln, Sudbury, was initiated by students and passed by students. It was great. So 85% of Suffolk County and almost 100% of the Cape, and then a big swath out in the Western Mass section. So it's all over the place, and it's coming. It's like there might be 6 or 7 more towns that do this this year.
And as of October 2018, it was 85 Mass cities and towns. It's now up to 86, but it was 40% of the population.
About almost 40%. Yep.
It was just about 40% of the population was doing this. So, like I said, it's not a new thing. But Andy, is there anything else that you wanted to go over with this initiative and some of the things that you're looking to inform people about?
I just wanted to, I think, emphasize the fact that the students in town, what we've heard is that it's really encouraging to hear them talk about the logic of this, that they understand this and they understand that this is a real problem. And so I'm looking to the students for their lead on making this a normalcy, making this normal for us to always be thinking about how what we throw away impacts the world and even our town. There's a new problem with the fact that our recycling in the United States as a whole, we were sending most of it to China. And China in 2018 just said, okay, well, you can give this to us. We were 30% contaminated. We'll take it if it's like 3% contaminated. And we can't keep that up. We can't give that to them. So our recycling is not going anywhere. It's not, no one really knows what to do with it. And the only thing that's going to help that is to rethink how you throw things away and what you consume in the first place, what you bring home in the first place. If you bring home things that cannot be disposed of, then we all have a problem. If you bring home something that can be used once, twice, 20, 120 times before you dispose of it, you're already helping. Everything you do, I think it's just important, and the students know this, every single thing you do in the world makes a difference, even one person. And so sometimes we feel a little overwhelmed by the statistics that it's overwhelming. But you can do something, and if you start with one small thing like plastic bags and just changing to a reusable bag, you're showing your children that you're doing something for them for their future.
And this is something, we'll go over the dates one more time. October 25th, that's the movie Bag It. November 15th at 7:30 is the Public Safety Building, and November 18th at 3:30 is the Public Safety Building. That's the two forums that you have. And then, of course, the holiday stroll, December 1st. You guys are doing an art project to decorate those bags. And then you're also going to be supplying bags, paper bags, to all the vendors so they can use those. So that's what this initiative is doing. That's what this initiative is pushing forward. And I think it's an awesome thing that you guys are putting together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for watching. Actually, before we close out, is there anything that people can do if they want to get involved or need more information?
I can give you my email.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes? Okay, so you can email me at acostello84@comcast.net if you are interested in information, if you're interested in volunteering. We would love to hear from you.
Fantastic. All right, well, now we'll close it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion.
You're watching Medfield TV, community shows.